Welcome, friends. It is an immense pleasure to talk to you on one another topic today called Taoism. Uh, Before I begin, just wanted to remind you once again that I'm not a master of the subject, but a sincere student, and we will try to learn the subject without judging it. So let's begin together in this beautiful journey about Taoism. I really loved learning about it, and I'm sure even you will enjoy it. In today's session, we'll talk about life of Lao Tse, then what is Tao or Dao. Then we will talk about four fundamental pillars of Taoism, that is Li, Pu, Yin Yang, and Qi. Interesting names. Next, we'll be talking about the story of creation according to Taoism. We'll also be talking about gods, goddesses, and afterlife concepts. And finally, the teachings of Lao Tse. So let's begin. We are going to talk today about Taoism. So I read somewhere that there was a time once in history that three wisest men who were ever born met and they drank the essence. After drinking the essence, one of them said, "It is bitter." Another one said, "It is sour." And the third one said, "It is sweet." The essence was same, but all three reported different things. And interestingly, as I said, they were the wisest people on the planet. So everybody was absolutely correct the way they said about it. The first wise man is called Confucius. When he drank the essence, he said, "It is sour." The second wise man is called Buddha. When he drank the essence, he said, "It is bitter." Remember, Buddha said, there is dukkha in life, so many sorrows and miseries in life. And it is the truth, Buddha said. And the third wise man was Lao Tse, or generally called as Lao Zi. And he said that the essence is sweet. The essence was the essence of the world. So the same word is seen as sour by Confucius, seen as bitter by Buddha, and seen as sweet by Lao Tse. So how come a grand scholar like Buddha says the world is bitter? Another grand scholar like Lao Tse says that world is sweet. So let's see what he has to tell us, what he has to teach us in that. So Lao Tse, once we learn about him, Lao Tse, Lao Zi, generally spoken, he is the spokesman of life. If life is absurd, while listening to him, you will find that he will appear absurd. If life is logical, you will find that he is logical. If life is simple, you'll find that he is simple. It is very easy to see spirituality of Buddha because Buddha is an extraordinary scholar. He is an amazing scholar. Even if he comes in front of you, you will be in awe of his wisdom. But it is not that easy to appreciate the wisdom of Lao Tse. He is so extraordinarily ordinary that at times we confuse that what is great about this chap. He was contemporary of Buddha and Confucius both. So let's know about this extraordinarily ordinary person who said life is sweet. So Lao Tse visits this planet in human body or human form during 6th century BC, the age of universal questioning. Generally, it is said that he was born around 604 BC. He born very quietly. He was born very quietly. He lived quietly. He left very quietly. He did not make any noise at all throughout his life. But the echo of his silent wisdom was so loud that the world still reverberates with it. So let's know about him all the more. After a prolonged gestation, it is said that he was in womb for a longer period of time than average human beings. He was born. One specific thing about when he was born is he had white hair. So that's why he was called an old guy. And this is what is the literal meaning of his name, Lao Tse. Lao Tse literally means the old guy. He was born old. And then I was reading about him. I thought, yes, if wisdom may be the parameter of age, he was certainly born old. Generally, it is said, Mragakshi, that maturity comes with age. But at times, age comes alone also for many people, isn't it? You'll find many people, age comes alone without maturity. But for him, he was born old. He never reportedly said or did anything, even when he was a child, which was foolish. So he was that genius, that intelligence. There are no records of his early life, just like Jesus, no much records. Actually, it appears that he grew so quietly that there are no much records about him. About his whole life, there are no much records. So no record of the master, but the message is all record breaking. He grew up and then he joined a job. He joined a job of a record keeper in the courts of Zhou dynasty in China. This much we know about him. No much records. But he himself was a record keeper in the courts. More about him can be understood by his deeds rather than the dates about in what age he did what. We don't have any records. He seems to be a very quiet observer of nature. He observed the universal forces, the laws that govern it. He believed that the truth cannot be spoken or expressed. Because as you express it, it brings limitations. Words have their own limitations. You cannot tell anybody what is the taste of a jalebi or a rasgulla for a person who have not eaten rasgulla. So leave alone the nature and the Lord. You cannot express the truth in words. And that's why he says that truth cannot be spoken. And that's why he chose not to speak much. So let's know something about him through his deeds. One of his deeds is called Art of Doing Nothing. Many people may like it. Art of Doing Nothing. When he became very famous, one gentleman came to him and he said, "You are so famous. People appreciate you a lot across the China. What do you do actually? Tell me something about your wisdom." Lao Tse said, "Actually, I don't do anything. When I feel like hungry, I eat. When I feel sleepy, I sleep. When I feel like waking up, I wake up. When I feel like walking, I walk. I don't do anything other than that." That gentleman said, like anybody of us, that quite very simple. Anybody can do it. Lao Tse said, "Good enough, do it." He stayed with Lao Tse for some time. He found when Lao Tse used to eat, as he said, "When I eat, I eat." At those moments while he was eating, Nothing at all goes in his mind. He doesn't look towards anybody. He's so mindful about eating, as if whole universe is there while he is eating. He is not at all disturbed. Nothing at all goes in his mind when he is eating. So when he is eating, he is eating. How many of you eat the way Lao Tse eats? While you are eating, nothing at all goes in your mind other than what you are eating. Absolutely nothing. Lao Tse, when he sleeps, he sleeps. Nothing at all goes into his mind when he is going to sleep or when he is waking up. When he is going for the morning walk, he is walking. Nothing is going in his mind. He was so much in present. His mind is so extremely still. As I told you, he is so extraordinarily ordinary. How many of you, how many of us are so ordinary as Lao Tse is? So this is what his art of not doing. His mindfulness, his being in present. And he was famous for that. And he became so famous that even kings wants to meet him. So one fine day it happened. As I told you, we know about him by deeds, not by dates. So the king of the empire went to meet him. So Lao Tse was digging a hole that time. And you know Lao Tse, when he's digging, he's digging. So some of the court members of king asked Lao Tse, because they don't know who is Lao Tse actually. So the king, the members of his subordinates asked Lao Tse that that person who was digging the hole, where is Lao Tse? Where he lives? Lao Tse, while digging the hole, indicated towards a hut, and he kept on digging. He didn't speak a single word. He doesn't speak much, quite. He kept on digging the hole. And king was waiting for Lao Tse in that hut then. After 15 minutes, nobody appeared. Then that subordinate again came to Lao Tse and asked, when will he come? Lao Tse thought for a moment and said, 30 minutes. And he kept on digging. King waited for 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, when the hole is done, then he went to that hut where king was waiting. And he said, yes, how can I help you? King said, you are Lao Tse. He said, yes, I'm Lao Tse. King said, we asked you where he lives. You didn't mention. You said that hut. Lao Tse said, yes. The question was where Lao Tse lived. So I just answered the question. He never over answers. He never under answers. He never wastes a single word at all. He is so conservative in his spending his energy. How many of us live like Lao Tse? Before speaking a single word, we ask ourselves, is it that essential to speak? How many of us live like him? So much conservative in procuration of energy. And then he said that next time I was asked that, how long will it take for him to come? So I told you the time, but nobody asked, who am I? So I didn't reply. So king said, okay, fine. I don't understand all this. I have heard a lot about you. Can you teach me something? Lao Tse smiled and said, respected king, I already taught you something. So king said, what did you teach me? Lao Tse replied, lesson number 1. Let the deed and the doer merge into the deed. Let the deed and the doer merge into the deed. Let them become one. Let only action remains, not the actor. Let only deed remains, not the doer. Let only digging remains, not the digger, is the essence of life. If you want to achieve anything in your life, these two have to meet into one. When you are studying, dissolve yourself in those books. When you are speaking or singing, let the singer dissolve in the song itself. When Maradona used to play, he used to get dissolved completely in the game. Then only greatness emerges. How many of us are so focused in that when we do something, we only are in that? So Lao Tzu is about deeds, not about dates. You'll be amazed to know about his discourses. Of a person who doesn't like to speak, what kind of discourses it may be? So what kind of discourses are there, Chandan? So he will sit beneath a tree, quiet. All the disciples will also come and sit in front of him, quiet. He will remain quiet for 1 hour. They will remain quiet for 1 hour. The discourse is over. Quietly they will go. Isn't it interesting? They will sit in front of Lao Tzu. They will contemplate about the questions of their life in presence of his energy. And they somehow will get the answers about his life, about their own lives, in presence of the energy of Lao Tzu. World has never seen ever such a quiet master. It is said when Buddha realized himself, he couldn't speak. He was so overwhelmed. He did not speak for 7 days continuously. And then many of the lords from the heaven descended and requested Buddha that please speak. In centuries, somebody becomes enlightened, and if the person will stop speaking, how will others be benefited? Please speak. But Lao Tzu did not speak for 80 years much. So this was his discourses. So one more interesting incident about his life happened. His neighbor and him both used to travel, both used to go for the morning walk since last 50 years. There was a tradition. And amazingly, Harshvardhan, in last 50 years, there was not a single exchange of words throughout the morning walks. Can you imagine that? Fine. So one fine day, a relative of the neighbor visited his place, neighbor's place. And he was so enamored with the might of Lao Tzu. So he said, tomorrow morning, I also would like to go with you for the morning walk. He said, you are welcome, but don't speak anything. Lao Tzu doesn't want you to speak. He said, okay, fine. So 3 of them went to the morning walk. They walked up in the hill. They went across the river. It was a beautiful morning walk. He wanted to talk to Lao Tzu, but he was instructed to keep quiet. Whole walk was over. Now they were returning back. This fellow really wanted to say something. At least a single word, Rajji, at least saying good morning. He really wanted to say something. Finally, they reached to their place back. Now he couldn't hold anymore. He said, what a beautiful morning. And this he addressed to Lao Tzu. Lao Tzu peeped into his eyes, replied nothing, and went to his home. In evening, Lao Tzu called his neighbor and said, please don't bring your relative tomorrow morning. He is too noisy. He said, look, morning is beautiful. This you can see and I can see both. What is there to speak about it? What is evident? What is there to speak about it? Truth is evident. Because even if you write poetries on morning, he said, you cannot justify with the beauty of the morning. Can you? Can you describe the beauty of the morning in words? You cannot. If only morning is undescribable, leave alone the truth. So this is what he used to think. This was his life. So one more incident comes to my mind is once when he understood everything about life, but still he used to think that something is missing in life. So he was seated and meditating, Lao Tzu, and he couldn't understand that what is missing. Everything I understood, all questions are answered, all things are clear to me, but something still is missing. And suddenly, Dia, he sees that a leaf falls from the tree. With a blow of wind, leaf moves towards left. Another blow brings it to the right, left, left, right. It goes to the ground. Lao Tse suddenly understood only this is left. Complete surrender to the law of the universe. Let me surrender completely. This is what Krishna also says in Gita. Arjuna, leave all the dharma and surrender to me. I will take care of everything. So then Lao Tse understood that finally I need to surrender everything to the bigger universe. And then he surrendered everything. So this was his life. Now you can have the glimpses of his. Then what happened after some time? The social degeneration happened. So much politicking in the courts, you know, king courts. So much politics, so much rivalry, so much power struggle in Zhao dynasty. So Lao Tse became irritated of it. He was not interested in all that. So he decided to withdraw from the society, withdraw from the state, withdraw from the nation. So he took his water buffalo and start riding on it to go to the Himalayas. He decided it's enough. I'm not interested. So finally, he left the world itself. Whole China he left. And he went to the frontiers of the state. But there was a custom officer at the frontier. He recognized Lao Tse. He said, you are Lao Tse. Lao Tse was around 80 years old that time. He said, where are you going? Lao Tse said, I'm going to Himalayas for my final years of my life. That custom officer knew that Lao Tse did not speak anything throughout his life. When I say anything, means minimum he spoke. He said, no way I can let you go. You have a huge custom duty to pay. And the duty is, give a part of your wisdom to us at least. And can you imagine, he engaged Lao Tse. He said, I cannot let you go. And then he said, you at least write something or speak something for God's sake. You are 80 years old now. Then on this condition that he will let Lao Tse go if Lao Tse will say or write something. Still Lao Tse chose not to speak. He wrote something. He wrote just 5,000 words in 81 chapters, only 5,000 words. In 81 chapters, 466 verses. And this book today is called Dao De Jing or Tao Te Ching. This book is world's second most translated book after Bible. No book in the history of the world has ever been translated so much after Bible than this book. Can you imagine this? And he didn't want to speak at all. He didn't want to write at all. But we really owe it to that custodian that he made him write something. Fine. So the book, Dao De Ching means the way to power. This is the literal meaning of it, the way to power. And he was so selfless that he did not write even his name on his book. Kaun karta hai aisa? Who does it? He wrote one of the world's best creation, and he did not even bother to write his name over it. He was so egoless, selfless. And then he gave it to that custodian as a custom duty. And then he went to Himalayas, never to come back. And since then, nobody ever heard and seen him ever. That old child went to the heavenly abode. And you know, the book that he writes, he started the book. Let me read you the first stanza of the book. Imagine a person who never wanted to write, and then he writes what he said. The truth that can be told is not the real truth. He said, whatever I am writing is not the truth. He said, I am forced to write, that's a separate case. A truth that can be told. And if it is told, it is not the truth. Whatever is realized in the silence, how can you express through sound? Isn't it? It is an experience, not a thought that you can share with anybody. So this kind of amazing person he was, Lao Tse. See, his personality is so different from Jesus, Buddha, and those other masters. Now let's understand what Tao is then. Fine. Tao Te Ching or Tao Te Ching are same thing. They are just different linguistic patterns to put it. They are same. Tao or Tao are same. Tao literally means the way. The way. Metaphysically, you can say the way things are. Psychology, you are a student of psychology. Psychologically, you can say the way human nature is constituted. Ethically, you may say the way human beings must conduct themselves. Spiritually, you can say the way to self-discovery. So this is what is Tao. So chapter 25 of this book gives the definition of Tao. Let me read exactly those verses. Friends, I generally prefer using the verses to increase authenticity. Fine. Quote, chapter 25, Tao Te Ching. Before the universe was born, there was something in the chaos of heavens. It stands alone and empty, solitary and unchanging. While listening to you, if you know something about Brahman and Vedanta, think about it and listen it. It stands alone and empty, solitary and unchanging. It is ever present and secure. It may be regarded as the mother of the universe because we don't know its name. I call it Tao. If forced to give a name, then I would call it great. Because it is great means it is everywhere. Because it is great means it is everywhere. Being everywhere means it is eternal. Being eternal means everything returns to it. It reminds me of Krishna. Things comes from me and returns back to me. So this is what Tao, from where things come and goes back to, is called Tao. So Tao is the flow of the universe. Tao is the source of reality. It is infinite yet empty. Creates the universe and it surrounds the universe.
Announcement.
It penetrates.
I can't make that announcement because all your...
It penetrates us. It is within us and around us. It is the ultimate creative principle of the universe. You may find it vague, but look, you can't define God. Defining God is defying God. Fine. So efforts to define Tao in words, Lao Tse says, is like trying to put river in a bucket. Can you put? And that's the trouble. We, and most important thing he says, we are no special in the universe. We are just like any other creation. Remember Bible saying that we are very important creation. Quran saying we are very important creation. Lao Tse is saying we are just like another speck of dust. We are just like the flower in your garden. Nothing special we are on this planet. We need to live in harmony with the way is the key to happiness. If you want to be happy, live according to the way. Align yourself with the way the universe works. Moving away from the way leads to misery. Follow the way. And how to know what is the way then? Then he says, observe nature. One of the most profound things Lao Tse says about is look at the nature around you. Nature is never in hurry. Have you seen nature in rush? Even if it is the flower of Mughal gardens, which is to be given to the President of India, that flower will also take equal amount of time as the flower in the desert or a flower in the forest, isn't it? No special regard even to the President of India. Nature is never in hurry, Lao Tse says. And then he says, but still its works are done. You see, nature is never in rush, but still everything in the universe is done. It means when we rush, we are against the nature, the way nature works. It's your problem, he says. Then he says, he's explaining us how to know the way. Look at the nature. Keep quietly, patiently, and persistently flowing, just like water. 3 things you need to do in your life: quietly, patiently, and persistently flow like water, and leaves the mark on the stone even. Have you seen in nature? But whatever you do, dear, you need to do it quietly, patiently, and persistently. You will even mark your mark on the stones. Learn from nature. You can't see your image in the flowing water, Lao Tse says. It means be still and empty your mind. Then only you will know who you are. Because when water flows, you can't see your image. So this is how nature teaches us. Be quite like nature. All creatures in the nature are born quietly and they die quietly. Have you seen a bird dying ever? Anybody of you? You find animals when they die, they don't make noises. We are the only creature on the earth. We make so much noise when we die. We shout because we want to hold life so much. No other creature than human beings make so much noise. Other than they are in physical pain, that's a separate case. But otherwise, animals die very quietly. The way is not like a super highway, he says. It's not like a super highway. The way is like a bird flying in the sky, and it leaves no footprints behind. You are no special in the universe. If you really know the way, then there is no goal. If you understand this magic, then there is no goal of life. Goal is all way along. The journey itself is the goal, then he says. The way itself becomes the destination, he says. The moment you understand the truth of life, there is no as such destination. The only way is the truth. If you enjoy the way, then you enjoy the life. Lao Tse says. So beautiful things. If I ask you what was the most happiest moment of your life, I want you to think about it. Think about the most happiest moment of your life. I'm giving you 5 seconds or 10 seconds to think about it. Think about it. Most happiest moment of your life. Thought? Perfect. Now tell me, whenever that most happiest moment was, when was it? How many days, months, years back? Think about it. And raise your finger and tell me how many years back it was. Was it 1 year back, 2 years back, or before that? How much time? Can you write in the chat box? When was the last time you were most happy? The happiest moment of your life so far, 3 years ago. Perfect. Write down. Happiest moment of your life, when was it? 50 years ago, 2 years ago, now, 2 months ago, 5 years ago. If the same question I will ask from Lao Tse, he will say it's going on. Every moment is the happiest moment of his life. He says there is no goal. Look how much path breaker he was, isn't it? So Taoists don't talk about goal, moksha, nirvana. They don't talk about it. There is no concept of this like this. It is just says the way. Let the way be beautiful. Live life authentically and spontaneously, just like a flower. No way to go. You were born by chance. One day you will die by chance. Live spontaneously. Make sense? So this is what is called Tao. Fine, the way. Now another concept here, the founding principle of Taoism is called first, Wu Wei. Wu Wei. It is another very interesting concept. Wu Wei means not acting, non-action, not doing. It means acting without force. Act just as an instrument of the integral part of the whole. Act just like a fallen leaf. Does it remind you of something called prapatti, complete surrender in Vedanta? Just act as an instrument. It is called action of non-action. Effortless action. Effortless efforts. Has anybody of you ever heard about a book called Flow? Being in flow. Lao Tse says that the greatest things are done in Wu Wei, in a zone of non-action. You are not acting actually. You are spontaneous. And Lao Tse will call it Wei Wu Wei, doing the non-doing. Isn't it interesting? What you are doing, I am doing the non-doing. Ask Mahendra Singh Dhoni. When you were hitting that winning six in the World Cup finals, what were you thinking? Were you thinking that 2 Arab people are watching me? 2 billion people are watching me live. After 1984, we never got World Cup ever. This is my time. Whole India is waiting for me. I have to hit this ball. Whole nation is... No, he was nothing doing, thinking nothing. He was in Wu Wei. He was just at the moment and doing whatever was happening, flowing. Go and ask Tiger Woods. How many of you played golf ever? Look, I played, and I'm such a miserable, pathetic player of golf. And let me tell you one achievement if you play golf. After playing golf, you will develop so much respect for Tiger Woods. Because then you will realize how much difficult it is. So somebody asked Tiger Woods once, how do you do it? What Tiger Woods replied is just Wu Wei. He said, I look at the ball, I look at the hole. I look at the ball, I look at the hole, I look at the ball, I look at the hole, I look at the ball, I look at the hole. And I keep on looking ball, hole. And till then, when both of them appear one to me, and then I hit. So he is completely in a different zone. Even if thousands of people are watching you, you don't know about them. An expert swimmer becomes part of the river, Lao Tse says. And how can a river destroy the wave? You just move. You just be. Don't try to become. It is difficulty. You just be. You must have seen that pole jump. That person takes the pole in his hands and tries level best. And he goes up, but after a moment, he leaves the pole. and all the efforts. He goes into the zone of effortlessness and he achieves his objectives. So a singer becomes the song. So there are 3 steps for Wu Wei. You may be interested. How can we do Wu Wei? Will we get fail in our marks if we do Wu Wei? So there are 3 steps to Wu Wei. Step number 1, go to the efforts or go to the arts. This is how if you go to a Taoist master, then this is how he will teach you. He will teach you all the skills. If you want to know how to paint, he will teach you painting, drawing, art. Do all the first step. And step 2, take a break. That break may go for months and years. Take complete break. Step 1, go to the art. Step 2, take a break. Step 3, now art will come to you spontaneously. This is the time you become the master, effortlessly. Taoists call it artlessly artful. Now suddenly that art will come to you and you will create masterpieces. If the act of an artist is effortful, his art is not perfect. If you are talking to your beloved and you have senses about your own being, you are not in the moment. You don't love her enough. If you really love her, you will forget yourself at that moment. Only she exists. Chapter 41. It says, Tao Te Ching. There are 3 types of the people. Right now, when you are listening to this, I know somebody of you may be thinking, what is he talking about? So Lao Tse knew it. So he said there are 3 types of people on the universe. Chapter 41. I am quoting it. When the superior person hears the Tao, this concept, they try hard to live in accordance with it. Superior person will understand this concept and will live according to it. When the average person hears the Tao, they believe half and doubt the other half. When the fools hear it, they laugh at it, Lao Tse says. If it were not laughed at, look, this is the most powerful line. He said, if it is not laughed at, it would not be Tao. Because if Tao it is there, people will laugh at it. He says, because it by not so acting, deep, do by Chapter not 6, doing. It reminds me of Amitabh Bachchan. When Amitabh Bachchan says, he was asked, what do you think before when you act? Amitabh Bachchan replied, do you still think I act? What he means is, I be the character. I don't act. I be it. All greatest thing in the world is done in a zone. Zen method is also like this. If you go to a Zen master, learn painting for step 1, they will teach you painting for 12 years. I'm telling you the steps. Step 1, learn painting for 12 years. Step 2, drop painting for 2 years continuously. You won't even hold the brush in your hand. Step 3, Zen master said, now you are prepared. Now art will come to you effortlessly. So tomorrow morning, how can you execute it? Wu Wei. Let me tell you. It is called Pomodoro method. Pomodoro method. What you do is, step 1, set an alarm clock in your mobile for 25 minutes. Keep your phone out of sight. Whatever you want to do. If you want to study something, step 1, alarm for 25 minutes, keep your phone away, block all the distractions, and then start working on you want to work. After 25 minutes, the alarm rings, and then it reminds you of 25 minutes are over. Then take a break. Step 2, take a break. Deep breaths. Go in wind. Dance, stretch, walk. Step 3, now get back now, and now ideas will start coming to you. This is how it happens. And this is how all creative things are done. And this is the way universe works, or spontaneously. Lao Tse is the only person in the universe who said this. Listen this. I'm quoting him. Easy is right. Everybody says, no, right way is the most difficult way. Lao Tse is saying, no, the right way is the easiest way. It's the automatic way. This is the way we are. Begin right and you are easy. Continue easy and you are right, says Lao Tse. The right way to go easy is to forget the right way, he continues. If you still remember that I am on the right way, it means you are not actually on the way. You still are thinking about yourself, just absorbed in the way. The right way to go easy is to forget the right way and forget that the going is easy. Even forget that it is so easy. Be in the flow. Lata Mangeshkar says that the best of the music came out of me when I forgot myself. While I'm singing a song, I even didn't think I'm singing good. I was so immersed in that. Chapter 48 says, I'm quoting Tao Te Ching, one who seeks knowledge, learn something every day. Yes. Second line, one who seeks Tao, unlearn something every day. Be uncontaminated. So many contaminations, isn't it? I'm a Hindu, I'm a male, I'm a teacher, I'm an Indian. Because I'm an Indian and Pakistan will lose the match, I will be so happy. So much contamination. If you want to live the way, be uncontaminated. Unlearn all these contamination. Less and less remain until you arrive at non-action. Then it will become automatic. Then less and less remains of contamination on you. When you arrive at the non-action, nothing will be left to be done. This is what Lao Tse says. So this is the concept of Wu Wei. Did you like it? Second is called Li. Li means the natural order of the universe. While listening to Li, Diya think about dharma in Vedanta philosophy. It is the organic order, what is called Li, the natural order of the universe. Like if you leave a substance, it falls down. Gravity pulls down, it's the natural order. Electron will revolve around. Centripetal forces will balance each other. It's called Li. Natural order. It is random, but with a perfect pattern in the universe. Ask a quantum physicist, he will say that particles and in quanta world are random, but there is a method in that madness also. Life cycles, seasons, natural forces. It's a self-rhythmic universe, isn't it? When a season, when summer comes, before summer comes, there is a fall. Tree will fall, they will shed their leaves. So much intelligence is there, which is natural. Observing Li, you can see the function of Tao, the Brahman, the God. So Li, when you can't see Tao, what you can see is Li. How Li functions. When summer comes, seasons changes, automatically universe changes. Chapter 73. I'm quoting chapter 73. The Tao of the universe doesn't compete, yet wins. Satyameva Jayate. The Tao of the universe doesn't compete, yet wins. Doesn't speak, yet responds. Swami Vivekananda used to say, good, good, bad, bad, none escape the law. Nobody will speak that you will be punished. Your law of karma will automatically punish you. Doesn't speak, yet responds. Fine. You don't study, Murgakshi, you don't study, automatically you will get poor marks. Nobody will announce you will get poor marks, isn't it? Don't speak, it doesn't speak, but it responds. Doesn't command, yet is obeyed. Doesn't act, yet good at directing. This is what is Li. Chapter 77. The Tao works to use the axis. It is very important. How does this Li works? Tao works through Li. The Tao works to use the axis and give it to which is depleted. Just like Robin Hood. Look at the nature. Takes from what who have and gives to who don't have. This is how nature balances itself, isn't it? When there is too much summer, automatically water comes. Automatically there is a low pressure belt and clouds will come. Nature balances itself. The Tao works to use excess and gives it to which is depleted. But how human works, he says, the way people is to take from the depleted and give it to those who are already in excess. See, in Corona period, all rich people have become richer. This is how human world works. But nature does justice. Make sense? If nature will give you a desert, it will also give you oil beneath it. So nature balances. So this is what you call Li, the rules governing. Third concept is called Pu, P-U, Pu. It is also a very interesting concept. It is the Chinese word for unworked wood, uncrafted wood. A wood which is very simple. A piece of wood of no use. It is called Pu, uncrafted, unused, unworked. It means the natural state of humanity, spontaneous, without any features. So Lao Tse says very interesting thing here. He says, be useless. He says, be useless. Have you heard somebody speaking like this? Do nothing, be useless. He says, be useless. Fine. Trees in the forest which are useless, never cut. Nobody cuts it. So Lao Tse says, you be like Pu. Nobody will bother you. You be useless. If you are useful, think about your life even. Think about your life. If you are useful, only those people will come to you who see utility in you, isn't it? And that's why you see that when people do not have utility, nobody visits them, isn't it? You must have seen many elderly people. Nobody visits them. So, utility. It is said that the woman in her 20s, she is like Africa, unexplored. In her 30s, she is like India, full of sunshine. In her 40s, she is like America, technically perfect. In her 50s, she is like Britain, once magnificent, now in her ruins. In 60s, she is like Siberia. Everybody knows where is it, but nobody visits it. So somebody said this, but the point is about utility. So only those people will come to you if you are useful, who will find some utility in you. And whatever I said about woman is equally correct for man also. No gender bias in that. And if you are useless, think you are useless, and still somebody is coming to you, it means that person really loves you. Like your mother will still come to you, even if you are a useless fellow. She loves you. Nature never thinks from the glasses of utility, Lao Tse says. Nature never thinks what is useful. It is only human construct, isn't it? There are billions of species there. Why God created billions of species? Why nature created so much? There is no concept of utility, what I can get out of it. It is human construct. What is the use of so many billions of species? What is the use of so much biodiversity? What is of use of 8 billion people with different faces? Unique fingerprints? What is the use? Had human being, I feel at times, the creator of the world, then we would have created extremely useful universe, which I guess would be useless to live in. Fine. Because we see everything, how much useful it is. So he said, be useless. One of the disciples of Lao Tse, his name was Changzu, very famous, Changzu, amazing scholar. He said, be useless like a hunchback. Hunchback means people who have some disease at the back. Hunchback, they can't walk straight. So these people in those times in China, if you have a hunchback, you will not be recruited in army and sent to the war. So he said, be useless like a hunchback. So you will not be slaughtered in the name of war. Be useless. Says Changju. If you deny the useless, I'm quoting Changzu, if you deny the useless, there will be no use of the world. How? Let me tell you what he proposes. I'm quoting him again. If I take away all the useless space in the universe, other than the space which is useful, means if you are standing on the ground, then which is the useful space? The ground just below your feet. If I take away all the space in the world other than the space under your feet, will you be able to do anything? Nothing. The utility of the world is because of this uselessness. Says Changzu. Child does useless things and he's so happy. And see, we elders, we do so much useful things. And we are so unhappy. So we have grown this utilitarian mindset, so much commodity oriented, he says. We are truly ourselves when we do useless things. Think of those times when you used to do useless things. When we do useless things, you paint and you don't want to sell that painting. You are painting just like that. Useless. You are taking sun bath. Useless. You are watching sunset. Useless. Most of the happiest moments of your life was technically useless, isn't it? So there was a famous story of two vagabonds. So there were two vagabonds, avara log, theek hai. So they were caught by the police and was sent to the judge. So those people used to, just like hippies, wander around here and there. So judge asked them, where do you live? First of the person. From the first person, judge asked, where do you live? The person replied, the whole world is my home. The sky is my shelter. I go wherever. There is no barriers. I am a free man. Judge said, okay. And then the judge asked from the next person, where do you live? He said, the next door to him. I live the next door to him. You see, Buddha and Mahavira, they left everything which was considered useful, isn't it? Running the kingdom, studying and all. And they did everything which was earlier considered that time useless, leaving the world. So there is a famous Danish philosopher, Soren. He said something very deep. He said, I was a Christian. So first, when I used to go to the church, I used to talk to the God, I used to pray. But then I realized God knows everything, whatever I want to say. What is there to pray in that? Then I started being silent. Then whenever I used to go to the church, I used to sit silently. But then over years, I realized even silence is not good. I should try to listen to the God. So now whenever I go to the church, when listening happened, then for the first time, the prayer happened, he said. So whenever you go to the higher, initially we pray, then we become silent. The best thing is you listen. When you listen to the God, prayer happens. Third founding principle of Taoism is called yin yang. Very famous. You must have seen that circle with half black, half white, isn't it? With a black dot in white and with a white dot in black. It's called yin yang. They are called the two primordial forces. So it is said that they come out of Tao. From Tao, yin yang came. Fine. They are opposite but complementary. Please pay attention. They are not enemy of each other. They are complementary. They are not like the Western concept of God and evil who fight. No, it's not. They are complementary. They are not good and evil. They are complementary. They coexist. They define each other. They are a moral concept. It means it's not that one is right and one is wrong. No, they both are must. Neither is superior or inferior. Just like two charges of the battery. Can you say negative charge of battery is inferior than the positive charge? No, they both are important. They are the two sides of the same coin. Together, they constitute this universe. So from Tao, these two things comes. And they constitute the circular patterns of the universe, as there is a circle in that, isn't it? Both have qualities of each other also. You see that white has a black dot. Remember that, Dia? And black has a white dot. They don't compete, but they coordinate to make this universe moving. The opposite are not really opposites in Taoism. They are complementary. And behind both, there is a single source called Tao. So, it is okay. So, what does it teach? There are two steps. First, you need to balance yin and yang in us. We all have yin and yang. Let's see what are yin and yang in us. So, I'm going to speak yin and yang. You just focus on the words, fine? And I'll speak in this order, yin and then yang. Feminine is yin. Masculine is yang. Black is yin, white is yang. Moon, sun, earth, heaven. So first I will mention is yin. Next is yang. Yang is masculine. Yin is feminine. Hold on to this and then you listen. Water, earth. Night sky, day sky. Dark and night. Mystery and clarity. Dark side of a hill. Sunny side of the hill. Sunny side of a hill is yang. Dark side of a hill is yin. Passive and active. When an action starts, it is yang. When the action completes, it's yin. When a batsman pitches the ball, it is yang, full of energy. When it is catched, it is yin. Calm and hard. Focused and strong. Strong is yang. Yin is focused. Shadow and brighter. Even in relationship, when you party, when you laugh out, when you have fun, what is it? Yang, energy. But when you sit back with your friends and cry, you share your secrets, you share your sadness, it is yin. Even in a wave, I'm trying to tell you whole universe is yin and yang. The crest of the wave, yang. The trough of it, yin. Cup is yang. The space in the cup is yin. And if there is no utility of the cup if there is no space. So this is how everything. Heat of the coffee, yang. Blackness of the coffee, yin. Potential energy, yin. Kinetic energy, yang. Top of the body, yin. Yang. Because action organs, you activate. Bottom of the body, yin. Sound, yang. Silence, yin. Death, yin. Life, yang. Isn't it? Centripetal, centrifugal forces, brake and acceleration. When you put acceleration, yang. Brake, yin. Isn't it interesting? Summer and spring, yang. Winter and autumn, yin. Philosophy, yin. Science, yang. Listening, yin. Telling, yang. So everything, spectator, yin. Performer, yang. When you go downward, yin. Go upward, yang. When you speak in metaphor, yin. When you speak the fact, yang. When you forgive, yin. When you take revenge, yang. When you like neutral colors like I'm wearing, yin. When you like bright colors, yang. When you are rounded, yin. When you are angled, yang. When you follow like a good follower, yin. When you lead, yang. When your army advance, yang. When your army retreat, yin. When you are discreet, yin. When you are clear, obvious, yang. Open space is yang, closed space is yin. Physical is yang, mental is yin. Relaxation is yin. Excitement is yang. Overthinking is yin. Restlessness is yang. Yoga is yin. Cardio is yang. Golf is yin. Football is yang. I hope it is making you clear. Milk is yin. Chicken is yang. Cheese is yin. Spices is yang. Asking questions is yin. Answering questions is yang. When you pull is yin, when you push is yang. East, whole Eastern philosophy is yin. Whole Western philosophy is yang. Even you go for that. When you breathe in, yang. When you breathe out, yin. Does it remind you of Rajan Tamguna of Vedanta? And what to do with them then in our life? Balance this. Home, yin, work, yang, work-life balancing, balancing yin, yang, makes sense? So balance the yin, yang in golden mean, balance it, avoid extremity. And then step one is balance both. Step two is go beyond it. So like for example, if your beloved has some imperfections, bear with it because there is a dot black in white also, isn't it? Balance it. This is how you need to lead your life. Today, ask yourself, where is the imbalance in my life? Is it food I'm imbalancing? Is it work-life balancing? Is it a relationship? How can I make harmony in yin and yang? And what is Tao? Transcendencing it. Balancing, can you think about Satguna? Satguna is balance. Raj and Tam, yin yang, maybe. Going beyond Triguna is the Lord. Going beyond yin yang is Tao. So it is okay if you feel sad sometimes. It's fine because there is a black dot in white. But if you are feeling sad, remember there is a hope because there is a white dot in black also. So this is how yin yang governs the universe. Make sense? You like the concept? Good? Good. Now let's go to the next pillar of Taoism. It is called Qi. Now when you're listening to it, you may like to think about prana in Vedanta. Or you may like to think about Qi in Chinese traditions. Qi, C-H-I, Qi, is the new pillar, new thing that we will talk now. Qi, what is Qi? Chapter 42. I'm quoting chapter 42. Quote, all things carry yin and yang. All things carry yin, yet embrace yang. They blend their Qi in order to produce harmony. So with Qi, they both get harmonized. So the energy that harmonizes these yin yang is called Qi. Make sense? The permutations of yin and yang and their interactions with the life force known as Qi produces rest of the world. So who created world? Yin yang, and when they interact with Qi, the energy when they flow, it is called Qi, and they three together creates the whole universe. Does it reminds you of Prakriti? Pra means before, Krati means creation. Prakriti, which was before creation. So these two things were there before creation, yin yang. So what is Qi? Qi is the life force. Fine. Qi thus is found throughout the universe. Energy is there everywhere. Kinetic potential, it changes forms. The most remote stars had Qi. Even the finest speck of dust has Qi. And in the deepest ocean floors, and even in the thousand things, you have chi. So chi is of two types. One, chi is life force in living beings. When I say chi in me, what does that mean? Raji, it means the prana, because of which I am alive. It gives life to all beings. But chi is also there as a material force in all being of the universe. So chi is life force also and material force. It sets the world moving. The energy that moves the world is called chi. It sustains all things once they are created. So chi holds the world once it is created, the energy that moves in the world. Chi is the primordial energy that animates the universe. It animates, it moves the universe. It sets everything in the motion. It sustains all things once they are created. It is the life force. It animates matter. It flows through our body. If there is chi in your body, Diya, you will be alive. If chi goes away, we will say that the person died. Chi is responsible for functioning of the organs of the body, cardio, respiratory system, everything. It's just because of chi. The life force circulates throughout the body with blood, and it provides particular kind of nutrition to the myriad cells of the body. So it is said that when mother kisses the crying child, mother passes the chi and the child stops crying. When you hug somebody, what do you do actually? You pass on chi. When you hold somebody's hand in your hand and you say, I'm here, you actually is passing your chi to him. So chi is that which you pass to the people who, and there is negative chi also. When you don't like people, you stare at them and with angry face, you are passing a negative chi. Chi can be seen as the radiating from your body. If you are a master, if you are a sadhaka, the aura around your body is chi. There is an aura in the body. If you can see that chi, if you are a master. So through meditation and prayer, you can cultivate good chi, which can increase your life. And through chi, you connect with Tao. It is the connect with Tao. Through chi only we connect with Tao. And then how to cultivate that chi? Then a beautiful concept is there in Taoism called inner boxing. Look, you do boxing with others. But Taoism says that do boxing with yourself. It's called inner boxing. It's also called shadow boxing. Fine. In China, the word for it is called Tai Chi Chuan. Tai Chi Chuan. It means the boxing of the great ultimate. Fine. So what do you do there? It is called fighting with yourself. It is winning over yourself. It is said that fools fight with the ego of others. Wise fight with their own ego. Fools are those who fight with others. Wise are those who fight with their own vices. So how do they do that inner boxing? It's beautiful. It focuses on the internal circulation of the chi rather than external strength. Fine. They do not resist any incoming force, but they deal it with very softly and they redirect it. You must have seen in many Chinese movies that do like this. Actually, they are moving their chi energy. Proper blood circulation, it helps you to develop. Once you do this inner boxing, you feel relaxed because you moved the energy inside the body and it relaxed you. This is done with the mind and body both in that. Remember, friends, whenever they do this chi inner boxing, completely mind is absorbed in it. It's not only body is moving, even mind and energies are moving in a rhythmic way. And what is that rhythm is taught in that inner boxing. That how should you move your body so that it will move in the sequence of chi. Taoists say that any activity done with full awareness becomes a meditation. So in China and Japan, when you go, so the schools of archery and swordmanship, very interesting thing. In those schools of archery and swordmanship, where they practice, they call it meditation hall. They are doing archery, they are doing swordsmanship, but the hall is called meditation hall because it has to be done with mind, body, and chi together, completely absorbed. Then it becomes a meditation. So even you must have seen those Taoist wrestlers. Before they fight, they bow down to each other. Why do they bow down? They bow down to the opponent and meditate on the opponent as a divine being and the expression of Tao itself, not as an enemy. And the moment you see that person as a divine being, then that wrestling remains only at the surface. Deep down, it becomes a prayer. They are not interested then in protecting themselves. They simply do the exercise wrestling and they relax and go. Because now they are together coordinating their energies. You must have done joint combined studies. It's just like that. They combinedly channelize their energies. Outside, it may appear as a wrestling, but inside, it is a dance of their chi energy together. But this is what happens. It's amazing. It's beautiful. Now, let's talk about the story of creation. So, the Taoism says that there are few steps. While you're listening to steps, think of Vedanta if you want to. Initially, there was Tao, the originating principle of everything. From Tao, let me read the verse for you. Chapter 42. The Tao gave birth to one. One gave birth to two. Two gave birth to three. Three gave birth to whole creation. What does that mean? The Tao gave birth to one. Means there was oneness. Read quantum physics. Advaita, oneness. From that oneness, two came. What were that two? Yin and yang. Prakriti, gunas of Prakriti. From two, the third came. Chi. The interaction of yin and yang, chi came. So now yin yang and the energy together created whole physical world. They call it 10,000 things in Chinese word language. So the creation comes out of these three. It reminds me of Adi Shankaracharya's Gita commentary. Sa Narayana, Paro Vakta, Paro Avyakta, beyond even manifestation. Andam Vyakta Sambhavan, Andasyat Astitva Me Loka, Sapadipacha Medini. Even Adi Shankaracharya said that before there was nothing. There was Narayana. From Narayana, oneness came. Avyakta. From Avyakta, this Vyakta universe came existence. So this is how universe came, says Taoism. It starts from a singularity, whole plural word that come out. Now, what is the concept of God and goddesses? So there are the concept later on, the God and goddesses concept also got developed in Taoism. And what is that concept? Later on it developed. No God and goddesses are mentioned in Tao Te Ching, but later on it got developed. So there is a hierarchy. On the top of the hierarchy, it is called three pure beings. Who are those? First is our beloved Lao Tse, Dao Che, Lao Tse. Second is Yuan Si. And third is Ling Beo. These are the three gods. Trinity here, can you see that? Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, Trinity in Christians here also. And then from there are 8 immortals. Again, different functioning God. They are like prime ministers and different functioning gods. And below them are celestial governments. So all Chinese people, when you see them praying, actually they are not praying to these three ones. Because when you have some work, you don't go to the prime minister directly, isn't it? You go to the secretary of that department. So they are the secretaries of the different department. They have God for rain, they have God for food, they have God for this, lots of God. But interesting concept here is human with good deeds ascend to God. So the gods are humans, like Lao Tse is a god now. So those were the humans, and then they ascended to the God. Fine. And what is their concept of afterlife? They believe that body is just like a mortal. And soul has taken this mortal or hotel for some time. Don't stick to this mortal. The moment death comes, this hotel we vacate. Then what happens? Then through meditation, you can create your inner body and live forever. You merge with the universe and you live forever. Fine. But there is no much detail given about it, about afterlife. They don't specifically say much about it. There are three views you will find. After death, you become ancestors. After that, you may reincarnate. And there is another approach that after death, you become immortal. So there is not much work or much things you find in this about it. Right? Now let's go to the final aspect, the teachings. Beautiful teachings of our beloved Master Lao Tse. First teaching, chapter 49. He says, be the master. I'm reading it. How to deal with others? Mrugakshi, Lao Tse says, chapter 49. Be the master. How? What does that mean? To those who are good, sage treats as good. And to those who are not good, sage treats them as good. So whatever other do, you be good. This is the virtue of good. Rabindranath Tagore used to say that I believe in God when he doesn't listen to me. I believe in river when it doesn't quench my thirst. I believe in sun when it doesn't shine, because this is what you call is belief. When there is no evidence, still I have belief. Lao Tse says further, he is faithful to the people, the sage, a good person. He is faithful to the people who are faithful. And he is also faithful for the people who are not faithful. Because this is the virtue of faithfulness. You be good. Fine. And then he says, for the students in you, start now. Chapter 64. Famous sayings of Lao Tse. Chapter 64. The tallest tree begins with a tiny sprout, isn't it? The tallest building starts with one shovel of dirt. And famous, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step, says Lao Tse. So whatever you want to do, Diya, in your life, start right now. This is the right time. Whatsoever are the big objectives of your life, do it right away. And then while in the journey, be ready to learn. Chapter 71. What Lao Tse says, knowing you don't know is wholeness. Always remember what you don't know. Thinking you know is a disease. The moment you start thinking, mujhe to sab aata hai, it's a disease. And then Lao Tse further tells you, in the student in you, know your limitations and then forget them. Isn't it interesting? First identify them and then go beyond them. Chapter 71. Only by recognizing that you have an illness, you can move to seek and cure it. First recognize that there is illness. But throughout the journey, Lao Tse tells you, friends, be flexible. In your personal and professional life, be flexible. Chapter 76. See what he says. I love this. The living are soft and yielding. The dead are rigid and stiff. Living plants are flexible and tender. And dead are brittle and dry. Those people who are stiff in their outlook and approach towards life, those who are stiff and rigid are the disciples of death. Can you imagine this? See, a child is so flexible. Old age people are so rigid in their bones and in their thoughts even. Lao Tse continues, those who are soft and yielding are the disciples of life. They are the disciples of life. Rigid and stiff will be broken, and soft and yielding will overcome. So be flexible in life, friends. and how to deal with relationships. You must be in many relationships. You are in a tender age. Lao Tzu tells you to that fast is slow in relationship. Fast is slow. And slow is fast. Go slow. Chapter 64, listen what he says. If you rush in action, you will fail. There are many people who rush in a relationship and finally it gets broken. So many divorces. Don't rush. Go slow. Furthermore, this is very powerful what he says. If you hold too tight, you will lose the grip. Whether it is your son or a beloved, don't hold too tight. It will suffocate. It will lose the grip. Therefore, a master lets things take their own course. And therefore, he never fails. He doesn't bind. He never fails. And for the student in you, he says, then when difficult times comes, don't worry. It may be blessing in disguise. Chapter 58, I'm quoting. Good fortune has its roots in disaster. Guru Nanak used to say, Dukh daru sukh roga bhayo. When you are so much wealthy, you may cultivate many bad habits. So good fortune has roots in disaster. And disaster lurks in good fortune. So even if you are in difficulty, it may make you something good in life. Fine. And in relationship in life, he further says, always go smooth. Go smooth. Chapter 56. Those who know do not talk. And those who talk don't know. Stop talking. Meditate in silence. Blunt your sharpness. Be smooth in relationship, talking to people, dealing with people. Don't be sharp. Don't harm people. Release your worries. Harmonize with your inner light. Because one who can befriend self can befriend the world. Further on. And how can you do this in relationship? Always go beyond words. See the feeling beyond the words. Chapter 81, what he says. Lao Tzu writes, true words doesn't sound beautiful. Your mother, when shouts at you, she speaks so difficult words to listen to. They may not be beautiful, but they are true. And Lao Tzu says, beautiful sounding words are not true. Some people may be very nice with you, but it may not be true. Lao Tzu further says, wise man does not need to debate. And then he further continues, wise man does not need to debate, and men who need to debate are not wise. Further he says, wise men are not scholars, and scholars are not wise. It reminds me of Kabir. He said, likha likhi ki nahi hai. My relationship with my God is not about making notes and books. No. Likha likhi ki nahi hai, dekha dekhi baat, dulha dulhin mil gaye, phiki padi barat. So it is direct connect between me and Lord. No book is in between. No rituals are in between. So scholarly people are not wise and wise are not scholars. And then he knew that people will get confused about what I am saying. So chapter 78, he writes, true saying seems contradictory. So truth appears contradictory, he said, because he knew it, that people may feel like this. And about when the life goes difficulty, chapter 42, whosoever is facing difficulty in life, Lao Tzu says, chapter 42, in losing, much is gained. Remember, Ram became Shri Rama due to Vanvas, exile. Pandava became strong in exile. In losing, much is gained. And in gaining, much is lost. So when difficulty comes, it will teach you a lot. And the last thing I want to say, what he says, go the water course way. Chapter 78. Water is the softest and the most yielding substance. Yet nothing is better than water for overcoming the hard and the rigid, because nothing can compete in it. Flow in life quietly, patiently, and persistently, just like water. So this is what Lao Tzu had to tell to all of us. So we covered Lao Tzu life, we covered the definition of Tao, we covered the fundamental pillars of Taoism, Li, Pu, Yin Yang, and Qi. We understood the concept of creation, God, goddesses, and afterlife, and the teachings of Lao Tzu. Thank you very much.